Alright, so we are now on the second part of our verbal logic 2, which is critical reasoning. Until now, we've gone over the structure of an argument. We've studied that logic can be of two types. There's deductive logic and there's inductive logic. Both of them have an argument. Argument consists of three parts. There's a premise, there's an assumption, and there's a conclusion. And we've also studied how these questions are made, where there's a structure to it. You take out the assumption, there's a question, you ask people to identify what the conclusion is going to be like, that's another question, right? We're now getting the slightly complicated part of it. Our premise is not just going to be limited to one sentence. Our premise is going to be a paragraph now. Okay, so you'd have to keep the paragraph in your mind as the premise, as the universe that you would have to know for that question, and then look at conclusions, okay, or assumptions, or whatever they've asked you for. Let's look at question number 1. It says, sitting approximately 1,500 kilometers from Bhubaneswar in Surat, Gujarat, some 6 lakh Odia migrant workers share a common concern: finding a safe way to send their hard-earned money home. Certain lacunae, what are lacunae? Problems, obstacles. Certain lacunae such as absence of identity proof and blank accounts, postal delays and careless postmen plague workers, as any of them wishing to send money home safely and quickly would admit, right? What are you supposed to do over here? You're supposed to look for which of the following can be logically concluded from the above paragraph. You're supposed to look for the conclusion. What can logically follow. Alright, let's look at option A. It says migrant workers in India have always been cheated. So it says that these workers have a common concern. It says that they find it difficult for themselves to send money home. There is absence of identity proof, there's blank accounts, there's postal delays, careless postmen. But is there any proof which brings us to the point where we can safely conclude that they've been cheated? No, right? Therefore, not a possible answer, right? Let's look at the second one. It says there are no proper money deposit schemes for migrant workers in India. Now, the main agenda for these workers is sending money back home. While depositing schemes, deposit schemes, the want to deposit money has been mentioned, blank accounts, right? It's been mentioned, but it is not the conclusion of the entire argument, right? It's like one little part of it. It's just been mentioned as a lacunae that stops them from sending money home quickly and safely, right? Therefore, we can't conclude that there are no proper money deposit schemes. What if there are schemes and they're not using them, right? So again, can't be concluded, right? Let's look at C. C says, the money sent home by migrant Odia workers in Surat often gets lost in transit due to various lacunae. Now, what was the main agenda? The main agenda was to send money home. Okay, they've covered that. By whom? By Odia workers in Surat. It gets lost in transit. Well, yes, it does, because, well, postal delays, absence of identity proof, blank accounts, so, and maybe even postmen who are careless. So it gets lost in transit due to various lacunae. Looks like an answer which is possible. Therefore, we're going to put it as a tick. But we're still going to consider the next few options. So what are we going to do over here? The way forward for these questions is elimination. So you see, I've already eliminated option A and B. C looks okay, but we're going to look at the option which looks like the most correct answer. Okay, so we're still going to look at D and E. Let's look at D. D says the migrant Odia workers in Gujarat are up in religion. It's actually rebellion. It's actually rebellion. Rebellion. It's It's not religion, it's rebellion. So the migrant Uriya workers in Gujarat are up in rebellion against the postal and banking departments. Do you have proof enough to say that they are in rebellion? They don't have means to send money back home, but they are in rebellion. We don't have enough proof to say that. We don't have enough data to be able to conclude that. Therefore, not possible as a conclusion because it's beyond the scope of our argument. All right, therefore D is not a possible answer. Let's look at E as our answer choice. It says the migrant Odia workers in Surat have found a safe way to send money home. Now the only thing that you knew in your premise was the fact that they have a common concern that they're not able to send money back home. They are plagued by various lacunae such as absence of identity proof, which does not help them build a bank account, and they have postal delays, they have careless postmen, etc., which is not letting them send money back home safely and securely or even quickly. But they now have found a safe way to send money home. Do we have any data to support that fact? As a conclusion, we do not. Therefore, again, beyond the scope of the argument, your answer is C. Yeah, easy? Alright.